Let us now move on to subtopic number 3.2. What is our system of elections? In this subtopic, we will talk about how elections are held in India. You all know that in India we have elections at various levels. We have elections at the Lok Sabha level, that is at the central level. We have elections at the state level, that is the assembly elections, and we also have elections at the local level, that is the panchayat elections and the municipality elections. These elections are held every 5 years in India. After 5 years, the term of all the elected representatives comes to an end. The Lok Sabha or the Vidhan Sabha is also known as the State Legislative Assembly. These stand dissolved after every 5 years. Elections are held in all the constituencies at the same time, either within a few days or on the same day. This kind of an election is called a general election. Sometimes election is held only for one constituency to fill the vacancy caused by death or resignation of a member. This is called a by-election. Here we will talk about general elections. Let us now talk about the electoral constituencies. In our country, we follow an area-based system of representation. The country is divided into different areas for the purpose of elections. These areas are called electoral constituencies. For example, let us take the Mandre constituency. The Mandre constituency does not only comprise of the village of Mandre, it also comprises of villages like Tue, Parse, Agarwada, Chopre, Harmal, Keri, and the entire village of Mandre. So, such a demarcation of all these villages makes up a constituency. In Goa, we have such 40 constituencies that are made for the purpose of elections. In each of the constituencies, there are different candidates contesting for election from the various parties, and the people elect one representative. The person who gets the highest number of votes becomes the representative of that constituency. For the purpose of the Lok Sabha elections, the country is divided into 543 constituencies. In the state of Goa, for the purpose of the Lok Sabha elections, Goa is divided into two constituencies, that is the North Goa and the South Goa. This is only for the Lok Sabha elections. In the Lok Sabha election, the person who is elected is called a member of the parliament or an MP. One of the features of a democratic election is that every vote should have one value. That is why in each constituency there is roughly an equal population living within it. In case of the assembly elections, the elected representative is called the member of the Legislative Assembly or an MLA. For the purpose of local government, for the purpose of panchayat and municipality elections, the village or the town is divided into wards. These wards are like constituencies. Each ward elects one member of the village or the urban local body. In the elections that were held in Haryana, we said that the Lok Dal won 60 seats in Haryana. It means that the candidates of the Lok Dal won 60 assembly constituencies in the state, and the Lok Dal had 60 MLAs in the state assembly. We have to also remember that when certain constituencies are made, some constituencies are kept as reserved constituencies. Let us now understand what is a reserved constituency. Our constitution entitled every citizen to elect her or his representative and to be elected as a representative. The constitution makers, however, were worried that in an open electoral competition, certain weaker sections may not stand a good chance to get elected to the Lok Sabha. Here, the weaker sections of society refer to the people of other backward classes, to people of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes. Our constitution makers were worried that these people may have no chance to stand for elections. So, for this purpose, the makers of the constitution thought of a special system of reserved constituencies for the weaker sections of society. That is why some constituencies are reserved for these people who belong to the scheduled caste, to the scheduled tribes, and maybe to the other backward classes. In a scheduled caste reserved constituency, only someone who belongs to the scheduled caste can stand for elections in such a constituency. Similarly, only those belonging to the scheduled tribe can contest an election from a constituency reserved for the scheduled tribe. Currently, in the Lok Sabha, 84 seats are reserved for the scheduled caste and 47 for the scheduled tribes. The seats are not only reserved in the Lok Sabha, but they are also reserved in the legislative assemblies and at the local level, that is, in the panchayats and the municipalities. In rural and local urban bodies, seats are also reserved for women candidates. Once the constituencies are decided, the next step is to decide who can and who cannot vote. This decision cannot be left to anyone till the last day. In a democracy, the list of those who are eligible to vote is prepared much before the elections and given to everyone. This list of people who are eligible to vote is officially called the electoral roll and is commonly known as the voters list. This is an important step, for it is linked to the first condition of a democratic election. In a democracy, everyone should get an equal opportunity to choose a representative. Earlier, we have spoken about the principle of universal adult franchise. In practice, it means that everyone should have one vote and each vote should have equal value. No one should be denied the right to vote. Denied means no one should be stopped from voting. Different citizens differ from one another in many ways. Some are rich, some are poor, some are highly educated, some are not so educated or not educated at all. Some are kind, others are not so kind, but all of them are human beings with their own needs and views. That is why all of them deserve to have an equal say in decisions that affect them. In our country, all the citizens aged 18 years and above can vote in an election. Every citizen has a right to vote regardless of his or her caste, religion, or gender. That means every person who is an Indian and who has completed the age of 18, whether he belongs to a high caste, low caste, whether he belongs to any other religion, or whether the person is a male or a female, every individual who is an Indian has the right to vote. It is the duty and responsibility of the government to get the names of all the eligible voters put on the voters list as new persons attain voting age. That means once you are 18, your name has to be entered into the voters list. Names of those who have moved out of the place or those who are dead have to be deleted from the voters list. A complete revision of the voters list takes place every 5 years. This is done to make sure that the voters list remains up to date. In the last few years, a election photo identity card that is also known as the EPIC card has been introduced. The government has tried to give such a card to every person on the voters list. The voters are requested to carry this card when they go out to vote so that no one can vote for someone else. But at the same time, we have to remember that this EPIC card is not compulsory. For voting, the voter can show many other proofs of identity like the ration card or the driving license.